Contemplation can only accomplish so much. My second tantric teacher was from the Gyatso sect. Actually, I take that. Yeah, my second and my third tantric teachers from the Gyatso sect. And they really, really emphasized contemplation, which turns out to be, well, in my experience, it turned out to be a really impotent practice. It didn't give me the peace I wanted. In fact, it just exacerbated my pre-existing anxiety and aggression. Why is that? Consider, if you will, the prefrontal cortex adjacent to our forehead. This bit right here. It is absolutely wonderful when it comes to calculation, but it is horribly inept at the practice of herding our emotions, like herding cats. When it comes to that task, not so much. One of the problems, see, when we use our prefrontal cortex for a task to which it has not evolved, we wind up exhausting the prefrontal cortex. I remember a woman being on the phone with a woman from Arkansas way back in the early 80s, and she told me something which I thought was just hysterical. Tell me if you've heard this one before. Don't try to teach a pig to sing. It wastes your time and annoys the pig. Similarly, regardless of what eloquent arguments our prefrontal cortex makes, our emotions are functionally deaf to it. You see, the part of our brain that evolved to emote evolved prior to the existence of the prefrontal cortex. Therefore, it is functionally deaf to our prefrontal cortex. We can reason and opine all day long. Our emotions are still going to emote. Not only is that a waste of time, but it can be exhausting. And an exhausted prefrontal cortex can generate many of the symptoms of depression, and none of us want that. So what part of our brain is better suited to work with our emotions, to cooperate with our emotions? I would suggest to you the autonomic nervous system. We're going to look at two aspects of it, beginning with the sympathetic aspect. It is ensconced within the thoracic region of our spinal cord. That's the part that corresponds with our rib cage. It is evolved not for active concentration, but for the opposite, to merely notice, and to do so vulnerably, passively, viscerally, and even randomly. Well, what do we do with all these things that we notice? What do we do with all these sights, sounds, sensations, flavors, scents, emotions, intentions, thoughts, memories, and imaginings that we notice? What do we do with our awareness of the external and the internal and the physical and the mental and the pleasurable and the painful and the interesting and the boring and the glorious and the grotesque? What do we do with all this stuff? Well, that brings us to the parasympathetic aspect of our autonomic nervous system. It too is ensconced within our spinal cord, but in two different places, in the lower lumbar region, as well as the tippy top of the cervical region. It has evolved to support both physical relaxation and mental release. So this is important. Rather than argue with our emotions, we observe them and we process them, not intellectually, but viscerally. A wonderful fringe benefit of this practice is that we experience what some Dzogchen lamas describe as the highest love, which is spontaneous and uncontrived. I look forward to chanting and meditating with you after approximately 30 seconds of housekeeping. This is Lama Jigme Gyatso of the Buddha Joy Meditation School. For more than 30 years, I spent more than 8 hours a day, every day, studying, practicing, mastering, and reverse engineering the teachings and techniques of each sect of Taoism and Buddhism so that you would not have to. Welcome to Meditate Like a Jedi, which is made possible due to the generosity of viewers just like you. This morning we're playing with a brand new sadhana, and the driving force behind this text is to make enlightenment just as easy and uncomplicated as possible. We're dividing our practice into thirds. The first third is going to be contemplation. The remaining 2/3 is going to be meditation. The first half of our contemplations, we will be bringing the experience of the 4 bases of mindfulness into Leapover's path of wishing love. What are we leaping over? Well, we are pole vaulting over our competitive tendencies. And what do we mean by the 4 bases of mindfulness? Well, when we read the Anapanasati Sutta, the Buddha describes all things, beings, and phenomena as fitting into one of 4 categories: the circumstantial, the physical, the interpersonal, and the mental. This morning we're going to begin with the mental, and all we're doing is wishing others well. We're not trying to be Gandalf the Grey, although that would be cool. We're simply, if all we do is strengthen our loving intention, that's great. So here's the basic trick. During our inhalation, we're going to silently and mentally recite our wishing love, or our loving wish, which in this case, we're going to wish that all beings, that all minds of all beings everywhere experience peaceful wisdom. Now, we don't have to visualize, we don't have to emote, we don't have to believe. All we're doing is guiding our mind with words. During our exhalation, we're going to physically relax as best we can while chanting this 12-syllable mantra of the historical Buddha, known by many names, including Shakyamuni Buddha. Let's practice together right now. Om Muni Muni Mahamuni Yesoha. 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 We're now going to rest our mind we're now going to rest in mindfulness and meditation. As children, the first bicycle we most likely received came with training wheels, and although they were clunky, they got the job done. Similarly, this morning's first exercise of mindfulness and meditation is going to be ungainly. During our inhalation, we're going to do two things. First, we're going to do our best to generate a vertical traction between our head and our tush. Second, during our inhalation, we're going to silently and mentally recite the 12-syllable phrase, perceiving this very turbulent play of mind. During our exhalation, we're going to do two additional things. First, we're going to physically relax as best we can. And second, we're going to recite an additional 12-syllable phrase, relaxing into mind's non-graspable nature. Let's play with this exercise together right now. Let us continue with our wishing love. Now wishing joyful love for each being's experience of the interpersonal. Om Muni Muni Mahamuni Yesoha. 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 Now let us remove the first of two metaphoric training wheels, reducing the length of our contemplative exercises from 12 syllables per breath down to 3 syllables. During our inhalation, we could silently and mentally recite, notice this, and during our exhalation, we could silently and mentally recite, relaxing. And yes, mindfulness and meditation are known by many names, including Sati Passaddhi. There will be moments where we experience acute resistance to the circumstantial or the physical or the interpersonal or the mental. When that happens, it can be useful to replace the phrase "notice this" with a more specific yet non-dual phrase such as appearance, resonance, sensation, this flavor, this fragrance, emotion, intention, cognition, recollect, imagine. Now, our job is not to exhaust ourselves, straining to select the best label in the shortest amount of time. Give yourself permission to be spontaneous and sloppy and have a shallow learning curve. Now let us bring the physical into the path of love and wish that all bodies of all beings enjoy beautiful health. Om Muni Muni Ma Muni Esawa. 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 Now let us remove the second of two metaphoric training wheels, reducing the length of our contemplative exercise from 3 syllables per breath all the way down to just 1. This could be described as jhana. During our inhalation, we could silently and mentally recite the demonstrative pronoun this, and during our exhalation, we could silently and mentally recite the monosyllabic verb ease, which functions as a synonym of relax. Reducing these 10 labels from their 3-syllable format down to a 1-syllable format could require a bit of the old poetic license. So when we feel resistance to physical sensations, we could silently and mentally recite the noun form. When we feel resistance to our emotions, we can silently and mentally recite the verb feel. When we feel resistance to a memory, we can silently and mentally recite the preposition then. When we feel resistance to a facet of our imagination, we could silently and mentally recite the verb dream. For our final opening love contemplation, we can bring the circumstantial into the path of love, wishing that all circumstances of all beings now be lavish with safety and good fortune. Om Muni Muni Maha Muni Yesawa. 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 Now that we've reached contemplative cruising altitude, together as a team, let us meditate as transformatively as Yoda on Dagobah under the guidance of the Force Ghost of Qui-Gon Jinn. Let's practice Great Seal. We're going to shift gears, and now we're going to bring the experience of the four bases of mindfulness into Leapover's path of letting go, where we pole vault over our clinging tendencies. Instead of working with wishing love, we're working with rhetorical questions. Rhetorical questions, by definition, are questions that we ask without actively striving to answer. How could all circumstances be appearing yet non-graspable? And at this point, this should make sense, because as we relax into our exhalation, whatever circumstances we experience during our inhalation could begin to feel as non-graspable as a vast empty void, like the illusion of the infinite azure sky on a bright and beautiful cloudless morn, which, although could be tantalizing to the eye, is non-graspable to the hand. Om Muni Muni Ma Muni Yesawa. 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 One moment. Let's see here. Okay, let's see here. We're going to replace the word circumstances with the synonym lot. Om Muni Muni Ma Muni Yesowa. 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 Now let's rest the mind in Sutra Mahamudra. Remember, the moment you have a specific question about Buddhist meditation, Buddhist philosophy, or how to apply them to your life, simply type your question in great detail in the chat window. We're going to use the noun form, as a synonym for bodies. Om Muni Muni Ma Muni Yesowa. 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 Let us rest the mind in Shan. Let us use the noun speech as a synonym for our experience of the interpersonal, for we relate to each other through communication, both verbal and nonverbal. And let's use the adjective void as a metaphor of non-graspability. Om muni muni ma muni yesuwa. 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 Let us rest the mind in Proto-Zen. So when we speak of mind being clear, we mean that we are naturally aware of our perceptions, emotions, intentions, thoughts, memories, and imaginings. Om muni muni ma muni yesuwa. 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 Having completed our opening contemplations, we now turn our attention to meditation. We're going to bring the spontaneous play of mind into Slice Through's path of letting go. Om Muni Muni Ma Muni Yesuwa 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 Om Muni Muni Ma Muni Yesuwa. Let us rest in Mahasandhi. Om Muni Muni Ma Muni Yesuwa 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 Om Muni Muni Ma Muni Yesuwa. Let's rest the mind in great completion stage. Om Muni Muni Mahamuni Yesawa. 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 Let us rest the mind in Ati Yoga's utmost union. Om Muni Muni Mahamuni Yesawa. 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 Let us slice through the duality of dread and desire. Om Muni Muni Ma Muni Yesuwa. 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 Let us rest the mind in Trekcho's slice through the duality of dread and desire. Om Muni Muni Ma Muni Yesuwa. 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 Now let us rest the mind in Trekcho. Om Muni Muni Mahamuni Yesuwa. 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 Om Muni Muni Mahamuni Yeswa 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 Om Muni Muni Mahamuni Yesuwa 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 Om Muni Muni Mahamuni Yesowa 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 That's weird. Okay. Om Muni Muni Mahamuni Yesuwa 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 Let us seal this morning's chant, this morning's practice, with universal wishing love. Om Muni Muni Mahamuni Yesuwa 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 If you feel that I have earned it, oopsie, wrong button. If you feel that I'm having troubles here, which button do I want to click? Let's see, let's try 6. If you feel that I have earned it, you can give this live stream a thumbs up. You could even help support this channel. In approximately 10 2/3 hours, I would very much like to return to lead today's evening meditation class and group practice. And if you are as geeky as me, may the Force be with you always.